will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD and Vice President JD Vance. I do. And that's why I'm so blessed to be able to introduce him tonight, because he understands the fight that we're up against.
Joe Rogan just stepped into the Erika Kirk conversation, and now the internet is on fire. He pointed out something that has millions of people whispering that Erika may have bigger political dreams than anyone expected. Some viewers are even speculating about a future in the White House. That's a bold claim, but the clips people are sharing have definitely sparked debate. At a recent Turning Point USA event, Erika took the stage and said no one would ever replace her husband, Charlie Kirk. But then she drew a comparison to Vice President JD Vance that had the crowd reacting fast. Social media lit up instantly. When JD walked on stage and greeted her, the hug that followed became the moment everyone replayed. Body language commentators online started breaking it down frame by frame, and Joe Rogan weighed in on his podcast, saying the optics alone were interesting and worth questioning. He didn't accuse anyone of wrongdoing, but he made it clear the political dynamics looked calculated. Photos of Yusha Vance from the same event also started circulating, with users reading into every expression and every detail. To be clear, there's no verified evidence of any inappropriate relationship or secret plan. What we're looking at is public reaction, speculation, and political theater playing out in real time.
Gotten several requests to decode this video with Erika Kirk and JD Vance. Let's look at JD Vance's side of the hug first. He gives a tight hug with a pat on the back. So some people often pat people on the back. That's just kind of how they manage a longer hug. And for some people, that patting on the back is what they do to comfort someone else. He also rests his hands after the hug for a second on her waist area, which can be a sign of affection and or romantic interest. It's the move to slide her hands up and grasp and cradle his head that is getting so much attention. This is a move that we women do when we are in a deep kiss, which is why it looks so very intimate. Erika then ends her hug by grasping his shoulders, which is a sign of affection and closeness. That said, grief can do really wonky things to humans, but this is wonky for sure. I'm Annie Sarnblad, and I teach microexpressions and all things nonverbal.
Still, people online are asking wild questions about 2028 and future alliances. Now, before diving deeper into the viral hug and Rogan's full comments, let's set the stage for how this moment turned into such a massive talking point. Let's get straight into it. Charlie Kirk was one of the most recognized voices in conservative politics. He built Turning Point USA from scratch and turned it into a powerhouse on college campuses across the country. At just 31 years old, his life was cut short in a tragic and highly publicized incident. His wife, Erika, witnessed the chaos unfold, and the loss shook their family and supporters nationwide. But here's where the timeline starts raising eyebrows. Within weeks, Erika wasn't staying out of the spotlight. She stepped into leadership roles at Turning Point USA, taking on major responsibilities. She began appearing at large events, speaking to packed crowds, and even continuing Charlie's podcast to keep the platform active. Some supporters called her resilient and focused. Others quietly admitted the speed of it all felt surprising. Not wrong, just fast. The conversation really picked up after that Oxford event featuring Vice President JD Vance. That appearance added another layer to the story. JD has been married for years to Yusha Vance, and they share a family together. Recently, JD has spoken publicly about his Christian faith and how important it is in his life. Those comments sparked debate online, with some interpreting them as pressure and others seeing them as personal conviction. There is no verified evidence of any marital trouble, but speculation spread fast once clips began circulating. And then you've got Joe Rogan, who jumped into the discussion by questioning the optics and timing of everything. He didn't make accusations, but he did ask the kind of questions that get millions thinking. And once those questions are out there, the internet runs with them. This is the part a lot of commentators tiptoe around, but Joe Rogan didn't. He looked at the timeline, Charlie's tragic death, Erika stepping into the spotlight, and that now viral hug with JD Vance, and basically said what millions online were already thinking. Something feels off. Not an accusation, not a claim of wrongdoing, just a gut check about the optics and the speed of everything. And once you line up the clips back to back, you can see why people started talking. Now let's rewind to the moment that kicked this into overdrive. At a Turning Point USA event in Oxford, Erika took the stage to introduce the vice president. The crowd was loud, the cameras were rolling, and it felt like a standard political introduction was coming. Instead, she said, "No one will ever replace my husband." That part made sense. She was honoring Charlie Kirk. But then she pivoted and began comparing JD's leadership qualities to Charlie's. That's when social media hit pause. Some viewers felt it was a respectful nod between two conservative leaders. Others thought the wording felt unusually personal for such a public stage. There's no verified evidence of any hidden agenda, but perception in politics is powerful. The way she delivered it, calm, confident, almost rehearsed, had people replaying the clip again and again. Comment sections exploded. One side said she was simply drawing parallels in leadership style. The other argued it looked like strategic positioning. No proof of anything improper, just intense speculation fueled by timing and tone. And in today's political world, optics can turn into headlines overnight. I'll be honest, at first I thought people were stretching it too far. When I saw the clip of Erika's introduction, I figured the internet was just doing what it does best, overanalyzing. But then JD walked on stage, and that's when the conversation exploded. After Erika finished speaking at the Oxford Turning Point event, JD Vance came out to loud cheers and music. He walked straight towards her to greet her. Normally, in a political setting like that, you expect a quick side hug, maybe a brief pat on the back. Clean, professional, done in 2 seconds. That's what most viewers assumed would happen. Instead, the embrace lasted longer than people expected. Cameras caught them holding each other closely before separating. Online commentators zoomed in, slowed the footage down, and started debating every detail. Some claimed the hug looked more personal than typical political optics. Others pushed back, saying it was simply a supportive moment between allies on a high-energy stage. There is no verified evidence of any inappropriate relationship, but perception took over fast. A body language commentator named Annie Sarnblad shared her breakdown online, arguing that the level of physical closeness suggested familiarity. She pointed to the duration of the hug and hand placement as factors that stood out to her. Not everyone agrees with her take, but her analysis spread quickly and added more fuel to the debate. What really set social media off was Erika smiling during the embrace. Some viewers saw it as warmth and gratitude. Others thought it looked unusually relaxed given the circumstances. Grief looks different on everyone, and no one can police how someone processes loss. But when you're in front of thousands of people and cameras are everywhere, every move gets dissected.
Fair or not, that moment shifted the tone of the conversation. For some, it was innocent. For others, it raised eyebrows. And once the internet locks in on a frame-by-frame breakdown, there's no stopping the storm that follows. The internet completely split in two after that clip went viral. One side said the hug was innocent and people needed to relax. The other side started connecting dots, building a theory that now has millions of views across social media. And while everyone was locked in on Erika and JD Vance, there was someone else in the room watching it all unfold: Erika Vance. A photo from that event started circulating online. In it, Usha is hugging Erika. At first glance, it looks like a supportive moment between two women in a high-pressure political space. But social media did what it always does, zoomed in. People began analyzing Usha's facial expression, saying her eyes looked emotional and intense. Some viewers interpreted it as concern. Others said that's a huge stretch based on a single still image. A photograph can capture a split second, not a full story. One viral comment read, "This is one of the most beautiful photos I have seen in a long time. You can feel the hug and see the pain in Usha Vance's eyes as she holds tight to Erika Kirk." That interpretation spread fast, but to be clear, there is no verified evidence of any hidden conflict or private issue. What we're seeing is internet speculation layered onto a powerful image. Then TikTok creators jumped in. A few users compared clips of Erika hugging other political figures at different events. In many of those videos, the embraces appeared brief and more formal.
Did y'all just see that? Y'all, let me show you this again. Watch his hand.
Commentators argued the JD moment looked more animated. Others countered stage energy, lighting, and camera angles can change how things appear. Context matters. What's undeniable is this: once people start analyzing body language frame by frame, the narrative can shift overnight. Some see professionalism, others see symbolism, but at this point, it's all interpretation, not confirmed fact. Another clip started making the rounds online. In it, a male attendee hugs Erika at a separate event, and the interaction looks noticeably more formal. His hands stay higher up, there's visible space between them, and the whole moment lasts barely a second. Comment sections joked about how stiff and awkward it looked. Some viewers even said that's how a respectful political hug is supposed to look. Others pushed back and said not every hug needs to be analyzed like a crime scene. Fair point. But here's where the comparison kicked off another wave of debate. When people placed that clip side by side with a hug involving JD, they argued the energy felt different. The JD moment appeared warmer and longer on camera. Supporters say that's because of the emotional weight of the event and the shared political mission. Critics online claim it looked unusually familiar. There is still zero verified evidence of anything inappropriate, but perception online moves fast and hard. Some commentators went as far as saying the hug looked intentional. Others said that's reading way too much into a few seconds of footage. Body language can be influenced by angles, lighting, adrenaline, and dynamic stage. It's easy to build a narrative when clips are slowed down and replayed on loop. Now, here's another layer people keep bringing up. After Charlie Kirk passed away, Usha Vance reportedly offered personal support to Erika during that difficult period. Erika has publicly spoken about how much Usha's kindness meant to her. That part is documented and not speculation. She expressed gratitude and praised Usha for being strong and compassionate during an incredibly painful time. And then came the wording that sparked yet another round of online chatter. In one public comment, Erika said she confronted Usha Vance during an emotional moment.
Confronted Usha Vance. I held her hand and I told her, honestly, I do not know how I'm going to get through this. She told me something. She said, you know when you're on an airplane with your kids and it's the last 15 minutes of the flight, things are crazy. Kids are not cooperating, toys are flying everywhere and everyone's screaming. You think to yourself, cannot wait for this flight to land. And it's 15 minutes before you land. She told me, you will get through these 15 minutes and the next 15 minutes after that. Usha, I don't think you realized it then. Those words were exactly what I needed to hear.
Some viewers interpreted the word confronted as dramatic. Others argued it may have simply meant she approached her directly during a vulnerable conversation. Without full context, it's impossible to assign meaning. What's clear is this: once multiple clips, photos, and quotes start circulating together, people will connect dots whether they belong together or not. Some see innocent interactions between political allies, others see strategy and symbolism. Right now, it's all interpretation layered on top of high-profile optics. Why would someone use the word confronted when describing a person who supported them during their darkest hours? That's the question that sent social media into another spiral. The word itself sounds intense. It suggests tension, not comfort. But context matters. In emotional situations, people sometimes use strong language to describe heartfelt conversations. A confrontation can simply mean facing hard truths together, not necessarily conflict. Some online commentators immediately started speculating about what might have been said during that private flight, where Usha Vance reportedly supported Erika after Charlie Kirk passed away. Some users threw around the term trauma bond, saying shared grief can create deep emotional connections. That's a real psychological concept, but even that doesn't prove anything beyond two people navigating a painful moment side by side. Where things crossed into pure conspiracy territory was when TikTok comments began claiming that JD Vance would leave Usha, marry Erika, and frame it as destiny. There is absolutely no verified evidence supporting that narrative. It started as a viral joke comment and snowballed into a full-blown theory. That's how fast speculation spreads online.
Some critics have also accused JD of publicly embarrassing Usha based on selective clips about religion. However, JD has openly discussed his Christian faith for years, and there is no confirmed report of marital conflict or divorce plans. Public figures often speak about personal beliefs, and those statements can be interpreted in many different ways depending on who's watching. The political angle added even more fuel. Lara Trump has publicly praised JD Vance and suggested he has a strong future in national leadership after Donald Trump. That comment alone triggered another wave of speculation tying everything together: 2028 ambitions, alliances, optics, power moves. But again, speculation is not evidence. Right now, what we actually have are viral clips, emotionally charged wording, and internet theories stacking on top of each other. No proof of secret plans, no confirmation of hidden drama, just a high-profile political moment being dissected in real time by millions of viewers who are connecting dots in every direction. When Lara Trump said she believes JD Vance could lead the country for 8 years, social media immediately jumped to 2028. That's how fast the presidential chatter started. In politics, once someone hints at a future run, the image talk begins. Voters look at family, background, faith, leadership. Everything gets examined under a microscope. Now, here's where online speculation went into overdrive. Some commentators claimed that if JD ever ran for president, he'd need a spouse who strongly connects with the conservative Christian base. They started comparing public personas, pointing to how Erika Kirk is viewed by supporters after the passing of Charlie Kirk. Erika is a widow of a high-profile conservative leader and now holds a visible leadership role within Turning Point USA. That visibility alone made her part of the conversation. But let's be clear, the idea that JD would divorce Usha to create some kind of political storyline is pure internet theory. There is no verified evidence of marital issues, no official statements about separation, and no credible reporting suggesting such a plan. The narrative started in comment sections and spread because it sounds dramatic, not because it's confirmed. Supporters of JD argue that his public discussions about faith are consistent with his long-standing religious beliefs. Critics interpret those same speeches differently. That's politics, two sides hearing the same words and walking away with completely opposite conclusions. The 2028 angle adds intensity because presidential campaigns are built on optics and unity. But right now, what we actually have are viral predictions, political praise, and a lot of imagination filling in the blanks. Speculation can sound convincing when repeated enough times, but it doesn't automatically make it reality. In one widely shared speech, JD Vance said, "My wife did not grow up Christian. I think it's fair to say that she grew up in a Hindu family, but not in a particularly religious family." That line instantly sparked backlash online. Critics pointed out that Usha Vance has publicly spoken with respect about her Hindu upbringing and how her parents' faith shaped their values. Supporters argue that he may have been speaking from his personal perspective about levels of religious practice. Detractors say it sounded like he was minimizing her background. Same words, totally different interpretations. Then JD added, "Do I hope eventually that she is somehow moved by the same thing that I was moved by in church? Yeah, I do wish that, because I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it the same way." That comment, delivered in front of a large crowd, added fuel to the online fire. Some people saw it as a husband openly expressing his faith and personal hope. Others felt it placed public pressure on his spouse. Again, perception depends on who's listening. It's also true that JD and Usha had an interfaith wedding ceremony that included elements from both traditions. Usha has spoken about how meaningful it was to incorporate her heritage. That history is part of the public record. Because of that, critics online started asking why religion is being emphasized more strongly now. Supporters counter that JD's Christian conversion and faith journey have deepened over time, which naturally shapes how he speaks today. Then the conspiracy crowd took it even further.
further. Some commenters began referencing a Catholic doctrine known as the Pauline privilege, which in specific circumstances allows a marriage to be dissolved if certain religious conditions are met. However, applying that concept to JD's situation is purely speculative. There is no evidence he has sought annulment, no indication of divorce proceedings, and no confirmation of marital breakdown. Right now, what exists are public speeches about faith, an interfaith marriage that has been openly acknowledged, and internet users connecting dots in dramatic ways. Politics, religion, and optics create intense reactions, but serious claims require serious proof. And at this moment, the viral theories are still just that, theories amplified by timing and emotion. Online theorists have even argued that because Usha Vance is not Christian, there could be religious legal pathways that would allow JD Vance to remarry within the church if he ever chose to. They point to doctrines like the Pauline privilege and claim it could provide a clean separation. But let's slow that down. There is absolutely no public evidence that JD is pursuing divorce, annullings, or any kind of separation. That entire angle lives in speculation threads, not confirmed reality. Still, conspiracy communities say the pieces line up: a viral hug, speeches about faith, 2028 predictions, leadership optics. When events stack up close together, people start building narratives. That doesn't mean those narratives are true, but it explains why some viewers are raising eyebrows.
Then came Joe Rogan. He's not typically in the middle of political relationship gossip. His show covers comedy, MMA, culture, and long-form conversations. But on a recent episode, he briefly referenced the broader situation and said something is sus and they don't know what's going on exactly.
According to the narrative. Now, let's be real clear. I don't necessarily think they know what's going on yet. There's a lot of weird shit going on.
That short comment sent the internet into detective mode. Rogan didn't name anyone directly in that moment, and he didn't make accusations. He simply suggested that the optics around recent events felt unusual. Because his podcast reaches millions, even a vague remark can trigger waves of online analysis. That's the influence of a massive platform.
Said that he took it apart and then put it back together again. Shut the f up. Do you know how much time it would take to do that if you were highly skilled?
To disassemble a gun.
To disassemble a rifle so that you can get it in a backpack. And by the way, not going to fit.
Not gonna fit in a backpack.
And then somehow or another reconnects it once he gets off the roof. What? This story is horseshit. Like, none of these things make any sense to me.
Now here's where things need to be handled carefully. Some online users claim Rogan questioned aspects of Charlie Kirk's tragic death. It's important to state clearly, there is no verified evidence of a broader conspiracy surrounding that incident beyond what law enforcement publicly reported. Speculating about criminal investigations without proof can cross serious lines. Asking questions about transparency is one thing, making unsupported claims is another. When Rogan says something feels off, his audience naturally starts digging into timelines, public statements, and media coverage. But digging is not the same as proving. Right now, what we have are viral clips, political speeches about faith, and a few carefully worded podcast comments. That's it. The internet may love a dramatic storyline, secret plans, strategic divorces, power plays, but serious allegations require hard evidence. Until that exists, everything remains in the realm of public debate, optics, and interpretation amplified by massive platforms. On his podcast, Joe Rogan questioned whether the official timeline surrounding Charlie Kirk's death fully made sense. He mentioned details that had already been circulating online, the type of weapon reported, how it was allegedly transported, and how the suspect was later apprehended. Rogan's point wasn't to present a new theory, but to say some aspects felt confusing to him. It's important to note that law enforcement has publicly outlined its findings, and there is no verified evidence of a larger conspiracy beyond those reports. Still, once Rogan said the situation had holes, the internet ran with it. People began asking who benefited politically from what happened, and one name that critics keep bringing up is Erika Kirk. After Charlie's passing, she stepped into a major leadership role at Turning Point USA. She went from being known primarily as Charlie's wife to becoming a visible figure in her own right. That kind of transition is bound to draw attention. Now, let's be very clear. There is absolutely no evidence linking Erika to any wrongdoing related to her husband's death. Suggesting otherwise without proof would be irresponsible. What people are reacting to is the speed of her rise and the visibility of her new role. In politics, perception can create suspicion even when there's no confirmed misconduct. So, when critics stack everything together, the tragedy, her leadership promotion, the viral hug with JD Vance, the religious speeches involving Usha Vance, and talk of a possible 2028 run, they see a pattern. Supporters see coincidence, resilience, and political momentum, two totally different lenses looking at the same events. So now it comes down to you. Is this simply a case of grief, timing, and public optics colliding in the social media age? Or do you think there's a bigger political strategy unfolding behind the scenes? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this breakdown interesting, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives like this. And I'll see you in the next one.